Can everyone hear me okay? I hope so. Yeah, this is the first one of our weekly Tuesday evening classes, and you can find them on the Sandy Granite Family History Center site. That's granitefhc.com. So tonight we'll be talking about the Family History Guide, and I'll give you some background on that, as well as a tour so you can get used to what's in it and get more comfortable with using it yourselves. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm on the home page here. This is www.thefhguide.com. And when I click this button called Tour right here, notice that it opens up a separate window here on the left. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to minimize my window a bit here, and I'm going to reconfigure just a bit. And this tour panel on the left, this is something that you can do on any of your devices to get kind of a bird's eye view of what the Family History Guide is about. This is a fairly recent addition to the Family History Guide. So we'll be walking through this to give you a demonstration of what's available. So over here in the tour panel on the left-hand side, we're going to start with some basics about the Family History Guide. So the Family History Guide is free. That's important to know. It's run by the Family History Guide Association, which is a nonprofit charitable organization. We run on donations, whether they're individuals, companies, corporations. And you'll notice that there is no advertising anywhere on the site. We did that intentionally because we don't want to, A, clutter the site with other things that we may not want to be there, and B, we want to keep the focus on family history. So the mission statement right in the middle of the page, our mission is to greatly increase the number of people actively involved in family history worldwide and make everyone's family history journey easier, more efficient, and more enjoyable. So if I rewind the clock to about 2014, the Sandy Granite Family History Center was brand new, and I was a consultant over there, and people would walk in week by week with pretty much the same questions, which is okay, but I thought there's probably a more efficient way to help them answer the questions. So I started this website, the Family History Guide, and at that point, I had the kind of crazy notion in my mind that this could be maybe a worldwide thing. Maybe people around the world could use it. And at that point, I remember telling that to a few individuals who would kind of give me the familiar roll of the eyes, like, oh yeah, I'm sure. But that has actually happened. Family Search has improved the Family History Guide as a training resource. And this coming Roots Tech, and I hope you all or most of you are signed up for Roots Tech. For the latest that I've heard is there are over 160,000 people who have registered for Roots Tech online in February, late February. And it's free this year, which has dramatically increased the attendance. And there are people from over 180 countries also attending. So this notion about increasing family history worldwide, this is a great opportunity for us to actually continue to do that. All right, let's go over here. We're going to close this up in the tour window, and let's start exploring the home page just a bit. Okay, so in the upper left-hand corner, we see a couple of features here. First of all, select language. This is one of the ways that we reach a global audience. So we have Google Translate built in right into the website. I click on select language, I can get this family history guide available in Spanish or whatever language I am interested in, and I can change it back to English very easily. Search is the next button. So when you click the search button here, you can type in whatever term you're looking for, and you can find it on the site. This does an internal Google search on the Family History Guide website. So if you're looking for something and you think it's on the Family History Guide, you can find it there by doing that search. And we also have a little feature we call today's tip. So tip of the day, it runs Monday through Friday, except for holidays. And each day we have a handy tip that you can use. It's about, today's about interviewing reluctant relatives with links to articles in the Family History Guide and elsewhere. Okay, there's also an overview video. I won't take the time to show that, but this is a great way. It's only about 2 minutes long. It's a great way to get an introduction to the Family History Guide, and you can share this with others to help them see what it's about. We're gonna hop over, before we go into get started, let me just say a little bit about the top navigation bar here. So if I take my cursor and hover over these menus at the top, you'll see there are drop-down menus available. This is your key to navigating through the Family History Guide. You can get pretty much anywhere you need to go by mousing over, cursing over those drop-down menus. Now, as long as you're on a desktop system, the menus will work across the top here. But if you're on a tablet or a phone watching or viewing the Family History Guide, the menus work a little bit differently. So I'm going to approximate how that works. What I'm going to do is take the edge of the browser window here, and I'm going to narrow it a bit at a time, and watch what happens to the menus at the top. At a certain point, they disappear, and you have the familiar 3-line menu here. So if I click on that, then you see the menus are available here across the left-hand side. And the same thing with phone. If I squish this all the way down here, then you see what it would look like on a mobile phone. So the nice thing is that the Family History Guide is what we call mobile responsive. So if you're accessing it on a phone or a tablet, the Family History Guide website will automatically recognize what type of device you're using, and it will format the screens accordingly. So you don't have to download an app, because there is no app. All we do is we just detect the screen size and adjust the menus and formatting accordingly. So no separate app to download. All right, let's go to the next part, the getting started, or the get started page. So I'll click this button on the left. For those wanting to get started with family history, this is a great page to go to. And if you're introducing someone else to family history, this is a place that you'll want to visit. So this page is driven by questions and answers. So how do I do this, or whatever? What are you curious about? The idea here is to help people find their passion, what they might be interested in about family history. Family history is a huge topic. It is one of the most multifaceted subjects that you could imagine. And one of the challenges that people have is they think, okay, I want to get started, but where do I go? And that's an interesting question, because there are many different places you can start depending on what your interest is. And the Family History Guide is built so that you can address whichever interest you have. There's not one set way that you have to proceed. You don't have to start at this exact point and then go in this exact direction. You can follow what ignites your interest in family history. So the idea here is that you click one of these links. Let's suppose that I'm interested in memories or photos, documents, stories. For example, I have a daughter who has told me that this area speaks to her intensely, but she's really not that interested in filling out family trees and so forth. I have another daughter who is way more interested in filling out family trees. So it just depends on the individual. I click here, and under Explore Photos and Documents, I get a list of questions. How do I organize photos? How do I collect family records? A lot of how-tos. And I can click any of these links here with these questions, and I will go to a place in the Family History Guide that answers those questions and gives me a chance to explore additional subject matter, so forth. So that opened in a separate window. I'm going to close that browser window. So that's how it works. I'm going to scroll down. There's activities, family trees, research, just about anything you're interested in. And you can either get started yourself or help other people get started on this particular page. Very powerful page. Intro menu. So in the upper left, we have the intro menu. If I hover over it, there's a couple of items here that I would like to highlight. First of all, closer to the bottom, there is an item called topics. Click that. And some of you may be old enough to remember the yellow pages. They've been around a while. The topics page is an alphabetized list of topics in the Family History Guide. So if you want to know, for example, where does it talk about adoption records in the Family History Guide, you could click that link and immediately you go to adoption records. And these little document icons here will take you to separate documents. For example, adoption records and genealogy and Find My Past, and here you go. So it's like a giant learning library at your disposal and always ready for you. Very handy thing. We've gone through the work of finding the best information and arranging it for you. Okay, so I'll close that window. Features help. Let's go back. Oops, lost the, here we go. Let's go back in the intro menu and go to features help, which is about halfway down. And if you want kind of a collection of how-tos for the different features in the Family History Guide, this is a good place to go. And I click the link here, you see summaries of navigation, of searching, submenus, links, activities, and so forth. So basically it's a help system for how to get around in the menus and what each particular item in the menu does. One thing I'd like to mention is if you are somewhere in the Family History Guide and you want to get quickly back to the home page, there's a very easy trick for doing that. All you have to do is go to the upper left and click the logo, and that takes you directly to the home page. In the intro menu, let's go down to the learning system. And this will give you a brief description of how we've organized the Family History Guide to help you learn family history more efficiently. So as I scroll down here, the project, there is a series of projects, goals, and choices. So you can think of projects as a big box of information. Goals are more like a medium box, and choices are smaller boxes. And the choices are filled with steps and links to articles and videos. So that gives you kind of an overview of how the information is packaged. It's a structure, but it's also flexible at the same time because you can choose to go in different directions. You can skip certain projects or goals. You can make your own choices about the learning paths that you want to pursue. So that's a good way to introduce structured flexibility. Sounds like a paradox, but it's a really powerful principle. To show how that works, let's skip over to an example project here. For example, Family Search Project 1. So to do that, I'm going to go up here, and these items, Family Search, Ancestry, MyHeritage, and Find My Past, we call the learning paths. I'll go to Family Search, and I'll click, this is project number 1. You notice we have 8 projects here, plus a couple extras. Project number 1, let's open that up and see about the goals and choices and how they work and how they fit together. Okay, here we are in project 1. To find the goals, I just look across the top here and you can see my cursor just moving over the individual goals. Right now we are in goal number 1, navigate. I can select a different goal, for example, adding ancestor, number 7. And as I look down, I see step-by-step instructions with links to articles and videos. So it's kind of a hybrid learning model here. If you like following steps, that's a great way to do it. If you'd rather watch a video about some particular aspect, you can do that too. or you can go out and read additional articles as you like. So I'm going to go back to goal number 1 and scroll down. You'll see the choices here. This is choice A. And if I scroll down a bit more, you'll see choice B. What if I wanted to see all the choices that are available? I could also do open and close choices here. So the choices are open by default, but if I click this button that says close choices, notice that all the intervening text and content is now hidden, and I can see the titles just for the choices. So this will give me a good overview of what I can find in this particular goal number 1. And then I can open them back up again. Each choice has a summary. You click that and it gives you a few bullet points of what you're going to learn. And we've talked about the document icons. There's also at the end of most choices, there's an exercises section. So you click that, and if you can do this particular thing, you're rated as good. If you can do this particular thing, you're rated as proficient for that particular choice. So this basically is how all of the projects, goals, and choices are organized. If I went to whatever choice, let's say goal rather, number 6, you'd see the choices and the summary and the exercises and the steps and all that type of thing. So same exact type of learning structure there. So obviously you can take your time and dive into whatever areas that you want to. We also have show me videos. So in this particular one, I'm in goal number 6. If you click this link that says show me goal 6, it opens up a video on our YouTube channel that gives you step-by-step instructions. I'm actually not going to, I have closed captioning turned on there. I'm actually not going to run through the video, but it shows cursor movements. So screens open up, and you can actually open up the family history guide in one window and like the show me in another, or you can open up family search in half of your screen and the family history guide in another half of your screen. And you can get side-by-side instructions. So you can learn, watch, and then try out the things that you want to do. So I'll close that up. Okay, so in Family Search, here are the different projects, and I'm not going to go through most of them, but I would just mention if you're using an app, we also have instructions for the Family Tree app for Family Search, and you can go through all of those for search history. You notice that some of the goals are different because the app is built differently. So you have a Map My Ancestors goal with choices and so forth. So back in Family Search, let's go to project number 4 here. And as I click that, let's take a look at the goals across the top. Get organized, that's a big one. Identify a line to do research on. Form a strategy for research. Do family search record searches. Here are tips for how to search effectively in Family Search. How to use different Family Search research tools. I'm going to do a closed choices on that so you can see. So you're talking about the catalog option, books, historical images, pretty much anything you want to learn about doing research with Family Search, you could learn there. One other thing I mentioned, this is a fairly new development. Our chairman of the board, James Tanner, has done a tremendous amount of work in genealogy. He's one of the world experts on teaching and mentoring in genealogy. He produces a lot of videos for MyHeritage and for the BYU Family History Library. He has created some quick research basics videos for the Family History Guide. So if I go to goal 3 here, form a strategy, you'll notice that it says watch the intro video. So if you're just getting started with figuring out what kind of strategies do I want to use for my research on my lines, you can watch this intro video, which also goes to YouTube, and then it takes you step by step through forming some solid researches that will help you no matter which line you're pursuing in your genealogy. So we have 10 of these so far, and we're going to shoot for close to 100 of them. They'll be sprinkled throughout the family history guide in the early part of a particular goal, so you can get a nice introduction to what you're learning there. All right, let's go back to, before I go on, for more advanced researchers or family historians, there are some subjects that you can really sink your teeth into. For example, developing search skills. What are some tips for really honing in on finding the records that you need to find? And one of my favorites is this goal 7, solve problems. If I do a closed choices here, avoiding common mistakes, looking out for potential problems in records, conflicting information, using photographs to help you in your genealogy, breaking through brick walls by using different alternatives. Lots of wonderful and helpful information here. And we've researched the best of the best articles and resources so that you don't have to spend your time Googling around and trying to figure out, okay, where might I find a topic like this to help me? We have it all here just in time so that you can learn what you need to learn. Let's go back here and go to the knowledge base. Okay, knowledge base, this is the general knowledge base for research in the United States and for general concepts. So I would compare the knowledge base to a giant information snack pantry. I know that sounds a little strange, but when I'm hungry for a snack, I often go to my pantry in the kitchen and it's got some healthy snacks there. You can think of the research knowledge base as the information equivalent of that. So if I go to a particular item, let's see, basic direct lines in families, we were just talking about that. So you'll find a bullet list here, and this has just bite-sized nuggets of information along with some source links so that you can go find additional information. So this is a great way to kind of raise your family history IQ, as it were, a bit at a time by digesting these nuggets of information. And as you can tell, there's a lot of categories there. Across the top, you can go to a particular topic pretty quickly if you're interested in church records, for example, and different denominations, different strategies for using church records, lots of great helpful information there. And this is a great way to find additional tips and information on doing family history. Okay, so that was all available in the knowledge base. Let's go briefly to Goldie May. And Goldie May is one of our partners, and this is actually a Chrome extension that you can install for free. By the way, we don't, with the exception of Ancestry and Find My Past and MyHeritage, we don't really promote sites or products that you have to pay for to start using. So we highlight the free items, and then there are sometimes paid options that you can use. Goldie May is a free Chrome extension that you can install. But basically, the idea is that it acts like an intelligent assistant for using the United States Census and for finding records and coordinating those records with Family Search. So it's almost like you have a companion along with you to help you learn census research. It asks you questions. You're prompted to look in different places for answers. So I would highly recommend this as a tool for really getting familiar with United States census research. And they've recently made it available for census research in other countries as well. There's a list of about 10 of them in the British Isles and some in Scandinavia as well. Okay, I'm going to skip back to Project 2 just to give you an idea here. This is a great project for helping you gather your records, gather records from others, tips on how to interview relatives. So this is very handy. You can have a list of questions to help you interview people who really do need to be interviewed before they pass on, so that their genealogy, their memories, their stories can be captured. This is also a great exercise for youth to do, to interview their grandparents, for example, and find out more about their stories, to capture those. Has a great family bonding value as well. And you can look through the memories, all these different goals. If you forget the steps on how to upload photos, it's all right there. If I go to Ancestry, you've got the same type of thing, except you'll notice that the screenshots are customized to our Ancestry, and the steps and links and articles and so forth. So you could learn Ancestry just as well as Family Search. You could also learn MyHeritage using this system, navigating the tree, finding out whatever you need to do. Open and close choices, all the same way. Show me videos are available. All that information is there for you to use whenever you need to. And to find my past, the same thing. Okay, so we've gone a ways here. We've gone through research, other projects. In the tour here, let's go around the world a bit here, talk about the country pages. So the countries menu is a powerful one. I'm gonna go over the top here and go to countries. And when I click on a region, for example, British Isles, you'll see that a list of possibilities of countries opens up there. I could click Scandinavia, and then that area opens up. You can also go directly to Canada, England, United States, and so forth. So just for an example, I will go to British Isles, Ireland. Okay, here's the Ireland country page. And the first thing you notice across the top is you have a list of goals. Ireland church and cemetery records. So here you have steps and links to articles and videos that you can watch and help you find the records that you need. So we'll get back to this idea of country pages in just a bit. First of all, let's go through the item at the top, all countries. If I click that, then I get an alphabetical list of the major countries that the Family History Guide has information for. So if you don't know a particular region, you could just use this alphabetical list and find out the country pretty quickly. There are, of course, many more countries than are on this list. So we have a more countries link down here. I'm going to go to it. And when I open the more countries link, then you'll notice there's an alphabetized list of countries from around the world. And this code CB for Caribbean, EU for Europe. So I could click Aruba, for example. And here the information is a lot more limited because there is less information available particularly, but you can still get some links and some important information to help you if you have research to do in these particular areas. Okay, I'm gonna click that closed. That's more countries. Let's go to the country's knowledge base. Remember, we just went through the general and United States knowledge base. We also have a knowledge base for countries. So I'm going to click the country's KB, that's the country's knowledge base. And here we have basically the same type of snack pantry information scenario, except it's for countries. So if I'm interested in Argentina church records, here we go. Bit by bit, we have information that can help us in whatever area we're interested in. So across the top, you could look at these country abbreviations, Denmark, and say Denmark archives, here we go. So basically whatever you need to know around the world, you can find. in the country's knowledge base. Near the bottom of the country's menu is the ethnic area. So I'll click on that and I can open up any of these if I'm interested in Hispanic research, for example. Here are goals and choices for doing general Hispanic research. Notice that this is different from a particular country. So if I wanted to do specifically Mexico research, I would go to countries, North America and Mexico, and I would find the country page. But if I'm interested in general Latin America, Hispanic articles, videos, and so forth, then I could go to this Hispanic ethnic page. All right, United States and provinces, counties, and so forth. So in the countries menu, I see United States here. And to click that, this is the largest country page. There is just a lot of information for United States family history. So we have it divided up into different sections. A for records, B for vital records, C census, and so forth. So I'm going to show just a few items here. One thing to show is in section C here, we have goal C2, census records by decades. So I'll click that. And we have 1940, and I'm going to do a closed choices here so you can see all of them. 1930, 20, and so forth, all the way back to the first census of 1790. But you can go through any of these and you can download forms, find examples, find articles, videos that will help you understand more about the particular decade of census that you're interested in looking at. Once in a while, you'll see a little letter I here, an information letter. If I hover over that, I'm actually going to see a pop-up menu here. And the idea here is for these articles, you could jump right into like unique features and problems. So notice that I didn't have to scroll all the way down in this very long article. I could just use that little hover item to get exactly to where I need to go. So that's a handy feature as well. Okay, so let's do another one here. Military by conflict, E2. And here we have Revolutionary War. We have, let's do closed choices. Revolutionary War, Civil War, World War I and II, and so forth. So some great information there available as well. Okay, so you will notice up in the top here that there are some there are some lightning bolts. And whenever you see lightning bolts, like the one that we're currently in here, that means that there are quick links available. So let me spend a moment and talk about what quick links are. If I scroll down here a bit, you'll see this section that says quick links. A quick link is a link that takes you directly to a record search screen. So here I have Family Search Revolutionary War Service Records. So if I click that, I go directly to the search page for this particular record collection. You'll notice that I didn't have to wend my way through Family Search menus and try to find out, let's see, how do I find this record collection? One click and you are right there. And AC stands for Ancestry.com. So if you wanted to look at pension files and so forth, one click and you're there and ready to start searching as well. Quick links are also available in different country pages. So I'm going to go back to, we were in Ireland for a while. Let's go back to Ireland and civil registration, for example. Remember, scroll down to the end and you'll find lots of different quick links available. Irish marriages from Find My Past. And you can pretty much search whatever you need to. So the idea is that you read about a particular area in your family history research. You watch a video or read some articles, and your mind is primed to start doing research. Then we make it easy for you to just dive in and do it rather than to have to go through the extra work of finding the different screens and where am I going to go to find records. So one-click access, very handy. Okay, back to the United States. Beneath the Statue of Liberty picture here, we have a list of states. So I'm going to click California, that's where I was born. And again, you'll see across the top, we have the goals that you could access here. We're in research and records. And the choices, you can see all the choices that are available. And if I click this link, CA counties, I go down to the bottom and there's a list of counties for California. So I'm from Ventura County originally, and the legend here says the name of the county takes you to Family Search, A for Ancestry, L Link Pendium, G Genealogy Inc., and U US GenWeb. So let's take a look at the Family Search entry there. And it's got the information for Ventura County. It's very handy. Now, probably not many of us are familiar with the Link Pendium site, but this is a very powerful site and has great resources for doing county research. Counties, as you'll get familiar with how records are organized and the jurisdictions that they belong to, some records are available at the federal level, like the United States Census. Some are available at the state level, some at the county level, like marriages, courthouse, and so forth. So if we go to L for Link Pendium, just to take a look, I'm going to scroll through this. Look at all of the resources available for Ventura County. And I'm not even to the letter M yet. There's a lot of things there. So when you're down to the county level, we have these for whatever state in the United States you're interested in. In all 50 states, we have all the counties with all of these different link possibilities, whichever one fits your needs the best. So there's some great resources for doing county research there. Okay, we're going to hop out of the United States for a while and go to Canada. Nice that we get to travel on a very cheap budget with no COVID restrictions. So we're just traveling virtually here. So beneath the picture here, we see links to the different Canadian provinces. So I could click Ontario, for example, and you've got an Ontario province page with your goals across the top and your choices, links to articles, videos, and so forth. And where you see the lightning bolts, again, you have access to quick links that you can use. Ontario births, baptisms, marriages, all sorts of vital record information access there for you. Let's go across the pond to England, and we have all of the England counties available here too. I have some ancestors. My line goes back to Devon in England, so I could click there and start exploring research for Devon, which I've already done some research on. Archives and libraries, vital and census records, whatever you need, it's right there with quick links as necessary. And the Australia page also has some Australian states if you're interested in that as well. Okay, so we've also already in the left, we've talked about quick links, very powerful. So you can integrate your learning and your research right from the Family History Guide. A little bit more about quick links. We obviously don't have quick links for every single record collection that Ancestry and Find My Past and Family Search have, because that would be thousands and thousands. We actually do have probably about 2,000 quick links available in the Family History Guide. There are many more than that. A lot of them are just a couple hundred records. So what we've decided to do in the Family History Guide is just offer quick links where the record collection has 50,000 or more records. If you're interested in smaller record collections, you can always go to the particular partner like Family Search or Ancestry. And you can search through the collections there to find additional ones that may be of interest to you. Activities. Okay, let's go across the top here. We have over 200 activities, family history activities in the Family History Guide. So I clicked on Family. And as I scroll down a bit, this is goal number 1, anytime activities and games. If you find an activity that's marked with an asterisk, that means that there's little or no preparation time involved. You can just pick it up and do it. There's videos occasionally to give you some tips and pointers and some illustrations of these activities. But activities are a wonderful way to get other people involved in family history. Some people who think that family history is not for them, once they participate in a fun family history game or activity, either with a family or in a college group, Zoom or dorm or whatever, or youth or kids, we have all of these different angles. We have a page for individuals where the activities are geared towards them. We have a series of pages for youth activities. And we have Kids Corner as well. And the Kids Corner is actually, the language is actually geared towards kids. So kids, 8 to 12 or even younger can get on this site and they can start doing exercises and understand what's there and get some help from their parents if they need to. But this is a great way to involve kids in family history as well. There's also an index. So if I'm looking for a particular activity and want to find it, here's an alphabetical list. Play games your ancestors played. And here's charades and different games that ancestors played. So you have access to finding a lot of things. Just if you're in a hurry and need to find a particular thing, that's a good place to look as well. Okay, we also have a homeschool area for those looking to integrate family history into a homeschool environment. We've got some great tips on this page here for homeschooling as well. So spend some time with activities. These are great for your own family or for church or school groups, whatever you're involved with. They are a very powerful way to share family history with others. The youth area, this series of pages is fairly new. So I'm going to go to the home here. And this is designed more for youth so they can get involved, find fun things to do with their family history. And it's quick, it's simple, to the point, and oriented towards youth. Places and cultures as well, so they can get used to learning about cultures around the world as a bridge to starting research in family history. So that's a good area to explore. Media, we have a blog that you can subscribe to right over here on the right. And we've recently added a translate page so you can get the blog in whatever language you want to. I'm going to close that window. We also have Facebook page, our YouTube channel, which I showed you a little bit about before. We're also on Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram. So lots of great social media presence there, and you can follow us on any of these pages. Faiths, we have a page for Church of Jesus Christ, which has information about a wide variety of topics relevant to members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. We also have a Come Follow Me companion. So those of you who are doing home-centered study and interested in that, you can click the Come Follow Me companion, and there is a schedule up in the upper left. And so you could go to this lesson number 3 here, and you'll find that we have a family history companion or equivalent for the particular lesson that we are on this week. So you can enhance and enlarge your family history learning in connecting it with the current topics of the Come Follow Me program. We've also done this for 2019 and 2020. So this is actually our third year in providing this. So very worthwhile in checking that out. Youth pages, we also have youth pages for Latter-day Saints. Catholic, you go to the Catholic page, find Catholic genealogy resources here with links to articles and videos. And if we go the research by country, you find a list of how to find Catholic resources in all of these different countries. The Protestant page works pretty similarly to that. You've got your general, you've got denominations, you've got Baptist, Episcopal, Lutheran, etc. And you could research by country for those countries who have Protestant record collections. Okay, let's hop over to the vault here. In the main page, the vault is where we keep additional articles and videos. So in the Family History Guide, one thing we don't want to do is we don't want to overload people with too many choices in a particular area. So you'll notice in the choices that we've seen and throughout the Family History Guide, there's a maximum of 2 articles or videos per step. And the idea, again, is not to overload people. But if you're really interested in a particular item, for example, stories, memory stories, click that and look at the additional articles and videos that you have, or storytelling, or descendancy research, research basics. Any topic up here that you want to, we're talking about census and decades. So here's all these additional records. So if you're interested in zeroing in on a particular topic, the vault can be a wonderful place, or you could get lost in there for a while and just have a great time. Okay, let's hop over to the tracker. We have 2 kinds of trackers available for tracking your progress. There's a Microsoft Word tracker, and here's a picture of it. Basically, you would download Microsoft Word documents that look like this. They list all of the choices and goals in the Family History Guide, and you can type notes in the Word document and record your status, the date, and that type of thing. This is great for doing pre-assessment of people's progress as well. But one issue with Microsoft Word or any type of manual documents like this is they might get deleted or corrupted, you might lose them, and so forth, and you have to manage where they are on your device. So we've also created an online database. This is the online tracker. So the first thing you would do for the online tracker is you would register for a free account. And all it basically needs is a username and password, linked to your email address. This is not connected to your Family Search account at all. This is completely different, so don't confuse the two. So after I register, I can log in. And here we see all the different projects in the Family History Guide. I'm going to go to project number 1, Family Tree. And I've just typed in some kind of sample notes, but you could type in anything about what you're learning here. And here's the choice that you've been working with. And you can move these slider bars. Notice the 0 says not started. 1 is started. 2 is I'm doing pretty good with that particular choice. And 3 is I'm proficient. So you may be asking yourself, well, how do I know if I'm good or proficient? Well, earlier on in this tour, we talked about exercises at the end of a particular choice. And when you click the exercises, there's a link that says good and a link that says proficient. And if you can do what's listed in the good part, then you set your slider bar to good. If you can do what's listed in proficient, you set your slider bar to proficient. So this gives you a way of tracking, and it has the dates for when you've recorded these different things. And you can pick, different projects and so forth. So very handy. Another thing to show you here is this thing called stars. So first, there's 2 parts to it. First, I'm going to go back to, I'll just pick I'm going to go to England here. And notice all of these stars to the left-hand side here. When you log into the online tracker and then click a star, notice that it darkens here. And that's a sign that you have read that particular article, or you have watched that particular video. So you'll know that, oh, I don't have to retrace my steps. I've done these things, and you can see at a glance, what you've done and what you haven't. But you may be wondering, okay, how does that work across the Family History Guide? Like, I don't want to have to click on every single page to figure out what I have watched and what I have read. That's where in the Family History Guide, the tracker, let's see, am I on the, okay, I'm going to go back to the tracker here. Okay, so we have this stars item here. So this stars is a report that you can do from within the online tracker. It's going to list all of the articles and videos that you have accessed. So here it shows, and I have actually read a lot more than these. I just haven't bothered to record the stars. But the idea is that it will give you an ongoing report of what you have seen and read in the Family History Guide. Okay, miscellaneous, there's a contact us button. We'd love to hear from you if you have suggestions on features that you'd like to see. If there's a problem with the website, we usually get things fixed within a couple of hours up to a day. We love hearing from you, and we have quotes from people who have used the Family History Guide, unsolicited quotes, of course. So you can read those as well. Okay, that pretty much takes us through the tour of the Family History Guide. Remember that you can use this tour yourselves, either for your own benefit or to introduce a friend or someone else to the Family History Guide. You can do it via Zoom, you can do it in person, however you'd like to do that. That's totally up to you. So I'll open up the time now. We do have 2 chat questions, so I'll try to go to those. Okay, those are more informational. So if you have a question about the Family History Guide or what we've covered here this evening, go ahead and unmute yourself and ask your question, and we'll try to get that answered for you.
I think you scared everybody to death.
That's a good thing. Okay, anyone with questions that they'd like to ask or comments?
In your miscellaneous, you didn't talk about what's new, but that's a really good thing to look at too.
Okay, good point. So you can get an idea for what's new. Typically in our blog, we highlight the important additions to the Family History Guide. But if you want to see kind of the behind the scenes look at what's been happening with the Family History Guide, you click what's new, and you can see step by step, month by month, the different things that have been added in the Family History Guide. So this is for the really nerdy of you who like to know, okay, when did they do this and when did they do that? So that's a good point. Just a bit about Roots Tech. We're planning some wonderful things. Of course, it's online. It's going to be, a lot of it is video based. So we have some new videos that are going to be amazing, and we're going to share those. And we have a virtual booth that's going to be pretty cool. So be sure to visit the Family History Guide when you log in.
The latest number I got today, Bob, on registrations were close to 185,000 now.
185,000. Wonderful. I bet we're going to hit 250,000 by the time this thing ends up. Dave Castleton remarks, great class. What a blessing the Family History Guide is. Thank you. Well, it's a blessing for us to have people use it and say that it makes a difference in what they're doing. And we don't get paid. We do this volunteer, but the pay that we get is the feelings and the progress that people are making and the stories that they share with us.
This is Carlene Walker asking a question.
Hi, Carlene.
Hi. I appreciate this very much. This is very helpful. I have a friend that is not a member, but he's very, very involved in family history, and I've got him signed up for Roots Tech. Does non-members have access to all of this that you've showed us tonight?
That's a good question. And it brings up the question about being non-denominational or interdenominational. We've actually built the Family History Guide so that it is interdenominational. For example, if you're browsing through the Family History Guide or using this tour, you won't find mention of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints much unless you intentionally go here and click on the menu. So that is by design, because we want to reach everyone in the world. We don't want people to think this site is just for members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. It's for everyone, but if they are interested in different faiths, there's Catholic, Protestant, Jewish, Church of Jesus Christ, there's things for everyone. And we've kept them pretty much in different areas so that you're not bumping into areas that you would not be interested in. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you very much. So they would just go to
all they have to do is go to the website. There's no
GFH.
thefhguide.com. You can also Google the Family History Guide. There's no membership, no subscription. It's just access the website from phone, tablet, or desktop, laptop, whatever.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I was just going to say thanks, Bob and Bob, for your thousands and thousands of hours, your dedication, your service. It's amazing. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Sharon. It has been a wonderful journey, and it's taken some faith to get there, and a lot of hard work. A shout out to my partner, Bob Ives, who got this Family History Guide Association going so we can work as a nonprofit and open up doors with Family Search and a lot of other places. So it's been wonderful.
Bob, we have another chat question from Nancy.
Okay.
Who's wondering about how we'll be selecting classes or videos.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So at Roots Tech, I'll speak from the vantage of the Family History Guide. The Family History Guide has actually 4 classes that we're going to be offering. You can search through the class list and look for Family History Guide. We have one on activities, one on research, one on introduction, and what is the 4th one on? I'm drawing a blank, but there is a great 4th one as well. So you can do that, but also you can visit our virtual booth and you can find additional videos and resources there. So it's kind of a hybrid. Yes, we do have some classes, and yes, you can also visit the website for additional resources.
And the other part of your question, Nancy, is everything is available 24/7. So actually, it's actually a lot better than if you were on site trying to squeeze into one of the classes. You won't have it.
That is a wonderful point. Personally, I miss the crowds and miss talking, face to face with people. But there's a downside to that. You have to have it in your schedule. You have to see if a workstation is open, and you only have a minute or two. This way, with the virtual booth, you can go on chat and you can ask as many questions as you want. And as long as we have somebody awake from the Family History Guide staff, and we're trying to staff our virtual booth with people around the world to fit in the time slots, you can get answers to chat questions, hopefully instantly or very soon.
Yeah, Bob.
Okay, we have a question a comment from Colleen. Awesome resource, thank you. And from Don Orton, a question. When non-members access the Family History Guide, will they also get access to Family Search ancestry databases? Great question. So some record collections are available to anybody. For instance, a lot of Family Search records are available to anyone, and some of the ancestry ones are too. But some of the collections for the paid sites like Ancestry and MyHeritage, Find My Past, those are available through the partner agreement that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints has with Ancestry and MyHeritage and so forth. So you may find that Members of the church may have a few more options because of these partner agreements. But non-members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints should still be able to access a lot of those records. Plus, if you're in a family history center, you can access everything because the family history centers have premium subscriptions to Ancestry, MyHeritage, Find My Past, so you'll find everything there. Jennifer says, so amazed at the resource. Thank you, Jennifer. Confidence to click around. That's the name of the game right there. You've hit the nail on the head. And Pat Harker, thank you. This is incredible. Thank you. We put on our Incredibles hat and try to do the incredible things, but it's been wonderful. Been a lot of fun. Anything else? Any last minute questions that we might have?
Could I ask you, this is Steve Morrow, could I ask you how to get to the site again? I can get to Family Search, but did you say go to granitefhc.com?
No, the granitefhc.com is just for the Granite Family History Center. In order to access the Family History Guide, you would go to thefhguide.com, or you could Google the Family History Guide. So it's different from Family Search. The two websites, Family Search, although they partner with us and approve us as a training partner, we are not part of Family Search. We are a different entity from them.
However, you can find us in the Solutions Gallery in Family Search as well.
Michelle Fisher says, thank you, great presentation, great resource. So in line with that, feel free to share this. We are surprised still at how many people don't know about the Family History Guide. And we get a lot of growth through the grassroots effort. So share it with your friends, post it on social media, share it in wards, schools, stakes, social media, whatever avenues you have.
Thank you so much. It was a great presentation. I can't believe how much you've done and added to through the COVID-19. When you listed
welcome,
that,
Pauline.
I couldn't believe it.
We catch Pauline every 6 months or so, and she keeps telling us that it's amazing what we've added. And that's one of the other hallmarks of the Family History Guide, is that we keep it up to date. When Family Search changes something, adds a new feature, or when we find something worth it, we get in there and change the website and keep it up to date. Otherwise, we become irrelevant, and that's the last thing we can afford to be.
Did you show people over in Miscellaneous how to contact us?
Yes, yes, in the Miscellaneous, contact us, and it brings up a jot form that you can fill out and sends it to our inbox.
I have a question.
Sure.
How about like a fifth Sunday, for the second hour for like the stake, doing this for a fifth Sunday for people to learn about it?
Sure, that's a very good idea. We have had lots and lots of wards and stakes in the church use the Family History Guide for fifth Sunday for activities. You could imagine how many different activities you could do with youth, with younger children, with older, the different organizations. I mean, the sky's the limit. You just have to think of what topics you want to cover, what people you want to reach, and how you want to do it. And the Family History Guide is very adaptable. You can go in and just select different items and put it together. We even have a training section, which I really didn't talk about, but you can teach directly from the Family History Guide. You don't even have to build slide decks and handouts. You can teach right from the Family History Guide. It's a powerful way, and that way your learners can take the site home with them and keep on learning.
I'm just wondering if, if you did this training for the whole stake, so that they don't just see a small portion, but even though you didn't cover everything, because there's so much there, but
Right.
if you did what you did tonight, then it would get a lot of people enthused about going in and diving in more.
And we do presentations for church groups. We also have done presentations for genealogy societies and libraries who are contacting us. But if you send us a request, if our time is available, we can schedule a presentation for the type of thing that you're mentioning, Sharon. Or if that doesn't fit in, people can do their own tour using the tour that we have. So yeah, we're open to all those possibilities.
And I guess the second hour, now that it's only 30 minutes, maybe it could just be in addition saying on this day, you know, as a family, you can log in and.
Right. And one great thing to share there is the Come Follow Me companion. All it takes is a link shared within a church group, and then bingo, you're ready to go, and people have that resource.
Before COVID, we used to do relief societies and elders quorums and a lot of Fifth Sundays, things for wards and stakes and stake genealogy fairs and, you know, all kinds of that stuff.
Okay, any other questions as we wrap up? We're so grateful that you chose to hang out with us, and we're over the time, but we wish you well in your family history adventures. And if you need to contact us, feel free to do so.